Hello, it's Kai, and today I'm going to be making a video where I'm going to be making a vibration speaker. So a vibration speaker is basically a speaker which doesn't make that much noise by itself, but when you put it on like a surface, it vibrates the whole surface, making it into like a giant speaker, so you get a really nice sound. So the way I'm going to be doing this is I'm going to get my speaker and speaker cone and all this rubbish, like just a normal speaker like I did in my last video. So I'm going to be putting some plexiglass on top of that speaker, and I have glue a screw onto the dome bit of the speaker there. So then I'm going to be putting just a metal foot onto the end of that screw. So then when the speaker vibrates, it's going to be vibrating this little foot, which is then going to be transferring the vibration. So then I'll put it on a surface, and then it will transfer the vibration onto the surface, so then we'll get the big vibration to make a giant speaker sound. So there you go. Okay, so now I'm just dismantling this speaker. So this is a bookshelf speaker. Well, it's my mum's bookshelf speaker. Apparently she bought it in the 80s. It's amazing that now you'll have our earphones and headphones where you can all listen to our music privately, where it used to be on this sort of stuff. So I'm unscrewing this big speaker part. So we have two speakers here. We have the woofer and the tweeter. And the reason we have two speaker parts is because like this big woofer makes all the lower frequencies, because it's got a bigger surface area, so it can make all the lower frequencies. And this little one is called the tweeter, and that makes the higher frequencies, and you get a balanced sound. So I just need unscrewing and getting the speaker component out of both of them. So the outside of the speaker diaphragm has just perished away. I guess it has been in the attic for quite a few years, so it looks like it's just made out of some sort of sandy cardboard-y stuff, flexible, so that's just dissolved away. I don't know. I'll try and get this component out. Okay, now this tweeter. Okay, so now we've separated all the bits, so we've got the woofer, the tweeter, and this bit. So what we're going to do is, you've got the cone shape on here, we're going to get these washers, and I'm going to try and shape this so we can glue it on top of this cone, so it's like a dome shape. Don't know how easy that's going to be. So then onto this one here, we're going to get a screw. So that's going to be on here, and then another one, which is again going to be a dome shape on here as the foot. So this is all going to be upside down, so then it's going to be vibrating onto the surface. So after that, we're going to get the tweeter, put this on top or somewhere like that, and then wire it all back onto this bit where we can connect our music, and also we think that this is just amplifying the signal, so that's going to be useful. Alright, so now we're just going to try and bash this into a dome shape. I'll be back to you when I've done that. Okay, so whilst I've been gone, I just made a massive mess. So, that's out of the way. So the first thing I did was I got the speaker and I cut off the speaker diaphragm with a scalpel. So this would be the part of the speaker which is moving with the air, but we don't need it as it's a vibration speaker. So I've cut this off, just minding the wires there. That's difficult. So then after I did that, I needed some, because what the thing's going to be is we're going to have a screw which is coming from the speaker cone like that, and then basically this screw's going to be vibrating, and there's going to be a foot on top, and this is what's going to be vibrating this way up the surface. So what I needed was these cone-shaped washers, so that would stick nicely, one to the cone because it's obviously a cone shape, and another one to be the foot. So what I did was I got these flat washers, and I got my dad to carve out this sort of bowl-shaped thing out of wood. I put this thing on top and just hit it loads of times with a hammer until it got to this cone shape. So that works nicely. So I got one of them here. This one's going to be the foot, and everything's sticking to this magnet. And another one here, which is going to be stuck to the speaker cone. So then I've just attached this onto a screw like this. So this is going to be the sort of rod, and the foot's going to be attached onto this. Next thing I did was I got some pieces of plexiglass. I doubled them up and cut them out, and I drilled holes there. So two of them is going to be attaching it to the rim of the speaker, and the other one is going to have this coming through, one just to keep it central, and also so the plexiglass vibrates, so then the vibrations travelling nicely down the whole thing. Don't want to hit those wires. So yeah, there you go. Also, in between, to attach this, we're going to screw. You're just going to screw it on. We're also going to get this piece of pipe. This is something I have to do, and put it in between the metal and the plexiglass, so basically that will just stop the whole thing from vibrating. Because otherwise, the whole piece of metal will be vibrating because it's metal, so it's sonorous. So then it will just turn into a massive vibrating thing, which is not what we want. We just really want the foot to vibrate because that's the only important thing as far as the vibrating components go. So, okay, so now we're going to get ready to do the assembly. So the first thing I'm going to do is mix our glue together. So then what I'm going to do is put it on the bottom of this sort of washer plate, mangled thing. And then what I'm going to do is just insert it in here quickly because it dries really fast. And then rest this in these two bolts like that. So then I can really slowly lower it down and glue it onto the speaker cone. So then once that's all in, the plexiglass is making sure that it's right in the middle. I can get my two nuts and then screw them on. So then, yeah, my dad's going to help me just make sure it's all held in place. But other than that, it's really good. Okay. Oh, it stinks, doesn't it? Okay, so as you can see, well you might not be able to with the camera angle, but I made an even bigger mess. So we got the speaker here, and what I was intending to do to get the music to play out of it was to dismantle these earphones, which I filled and cut off the ends, so I could plug it directly into my phone. But when I tried it, it wasn't working. I couldn't work out why it wasn't working. But eventually I worked out that it's because they didn't have enough power. So when you have like a modern speaker, like a Bluetooth speaker, it normally has power, so you have to recharge it and turn it on every time you want to use it. But these old speakers, they didn't have that power, so what they needed, they used an amplifier, like the one I got there, to power it. So what I did is I wired it all up to my amplifier, which I normally use for my TV, and that's why that worked. So I've all got it wired up. sign to show you how it works, and also I got all these different things, so when I put the speaker on these different things it should make some different sounds, so let's give this a go. So you can hear that's much louder than that, and here you can hardly hear like the bass or anything. As soon as you put it on a big surface it gets louder and you can hear all the frequencies much better. So that's a pretty good balanced sound. So if I put it on something smaller, like this table, it's not quite as loud, not quite as bassy, just because of the size of the surface. Also, this wood gives a slightly different sound to this wood, which is much more mid-tones. So here's another thing. So this is just experimenting. So I've got the acoustic guitar, which has got a hole for the amplifying. So when I place it on here, that's even louder than before, and that's a much different sound as well. Not mainly because of the design of the guitar is supposed to amplify the sound. So I'll put that in here. Also, I've got my drum. This is just experimentation, but it's again a completely different sound than it was before. So, yeah. Also, if you have something like this and you put something underneath it, it's again a different sound. So it's all because of the resonance of the material. It all gives a different sound. So this is about the best surface I've got. You can hear that it's actually a really good sound, especially just for a stripped down speaker that was broken. You can kind of get a bit of a close up here of how it's all working, so you can see all the parts. I'm not sure if you've got a good close up before, but anyway. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty good, really successful experiment actually. Just because there was quite a lot of problems, you had to go out and get all the bits. So you used a combination of two different, or a couple of different videos, and combined bits. Like, we got these rubber bits from one video, but also the shape of this plexiglass from another. Also, I've been solving some problems, so worked out why these didn't work and had to wire it all up to everything. And actually it's been a really successful speaker. I mean, it's a really good sound quality from what I expected anyway. I thought it was going to be all tin and rubbish. I mean, a bit like this. It's actually quite loud. So I'm definitely experimenting with this, and I think it's a really good experiment.